Hi everybody. After gaining insight into the information processing approach and multiple intelligence concept towards cognitive development of young minds, what next? As a facilitator of children of 0 to 6 years, it becomes significant for you to apply these approaches that could facilitate the young minds towards learning and contribute to their holistic development. This chunk of video is going to detail you on such implications. At the end of this video, you will be able to identify educational implications of the information processing model and apply the same in the early learning environment. The second is to make out the implication of multiple intelligence and derive activities fostering the same in the early childhood setting. Now let us see the applications of information processing towards learning. But how could this information processing theory be applied to children of early years in their learning process? Look into the example and realize the answer. Arun is reading a book. In other words, information from outside enters into a sensory register in the form of a book. While reading, the size and shape of the letters, the grouping of a word into sentences, and even how the page looks, when taken as a whole, get registered in Arun's mental system. While continuing reading, Arun could remember only certain information that he read a few seconds ago because the information from the book had got into the short-term or working memory. As you know, the storage capacity of the working memory is much limited. However, if everything happens rightly, the information already received by Arun would be pushed into the long-term memory and has a chance of getting access to it later. Therefore, the information has moved from sensory to short-term working memory and then to long-term memory. So, how a teacher could apply this approach to help their children learn? For this, first and foremost, a teacher should recognize that many children face problems in pushing the information from short-term memory to long-term memory because a cognitive load is a term used for having too much information in the short-term memory of a human mind. This cognitive load doesn't allow the child to remember anything for that matter. So to help the children to pass the acquired information to the long-term memory, certain strategies has been adopted by teachers as shown to you now. First one is to encourage attention and rehearsal. When a child can be attentive, the likeliness of the information being sent to long-term memory increases. Also, rehearsing certain facts helps them to store information. The second is present only a few things at a time. When too many things are taught, fed at a time, the working memory exceeds its capacity and does not allow children to remember anything. Hence, time should be given for the child to pass the learnt information to the long-term memory. Third, provide information in chunks. Nobody could remember a 10-digit number, say 98431-14463 at a stretch. However, when this number is split up into chunks like 984, 311, 4463 and pronounced, it is easy to remember. Chunking, in other words, is a grouping of information. This process helps a child to unload the cognitive load and thereby facilitating them to pass on the information into the long-term memory. Hope with these suggestive strategies, a facilitator could use the approach of information processing in fostering the speed and the quality of a child's mind in processing information. Now let us learn how can multiple intelligence concept be used to activate or stimulate the early learners for better productivity. A facilitator should be aware of the truth that each child by nature or nurture gets stronger in one or two or even more types of intelligence and is less developed in the other. However, an organized approach with activities aiming to stimulate all 8 intelligence should be formulated. Let us see some of the activities or learning centers that would stimulate each of this intelligence. Now, what are the activities as a facilitator you could provide for a verbally or linguistically intelligent child? You know that a child with high verbal or linguistic intelligence speak and write well. So, provide them or tell them stories. Make them listen to audio tapes. flannel board station, take them to a library, ask them to write stories on their own, ask them to partake in debate and play vocabulary games with them. And a children with high intelligence or logical thinker, and they are people who enjoy puzzles. So for a child with logical or mathematical intelligence, give them the stimulative activities to solve mysteries and make them predict outcome based on circumstances, and allow them to solve number or logic puzzles, and take them to a visit for a science corner. And above the spatial intelligence. A child's thought process with high spatial intelligence is often through pictures, as you know. So provide them more of art activities, map producing or map making activities, give them opportunity to more spatial puzzles, and teach them by means of flowchart or pictorial chart. Then all about musical intelligence. You know, these children learn well through rhythm. So allow them to write or recite poems, stimulate them to dance to rhythm, stimulate them to create or sing songs, and give them some sound or vibration experiments. You know, highly kinesthetic intelligent children, they are highly active children, you know. But to improve the kinesthetic intelligence, you as a facilitator should provide activities to use all their body parts. You should provide them dance experiences, give them some dramatic reenactments, and provide them sport activities. For a children with high interpersonal intelligence, they are found to be highly cooperative and value friendships and relationships. For that reason, allow them to work in groups, give them the pure tutoring or concept teaching method, provide them more conversations, situations, and give them role-playing situations and team building exercises. A child with high intrapersonal intelligence are intrinsically motivated as they are aware of themselves. So, you can stimulate them by keeping up a diary or journal of their own, allow them to work independently, allow them to write essays about popular and inspiring historical figures, rewrite an already developed story. What about naturalist intelligence? A child with high naturalist intelligence do understand nature with ease. How can you make them understand the nature? It's by collecting items from nature, nature walks, cultivating plants or carrying pets, and categorizing species. On the whole, the 3 videos of the 6th module had clearly explained you about the general model of information processing approach through the sensory register, short-term memory and long-term memory. And also it has explained to you the changes that takes place in the control process or mental strategies like memory, attention and metacognition. Though the information processing approach had not completely explained about the thinking process of children, it could provide the learner with certain tips of how to deal with children in their early years concerning their cognitive development. Gardner's model of intelligence had given you the style of processing information with preferred learning choice of each of the 8 intelligence, namely verbal or linguistic, logical or mathematical, musical, spatial, body or kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal and naturalist intelligence. A part of the module also elaborates you on the identification strategies to be used by an early childhood facilitator to make out the type of intelligence a child possesses. Also, the activities that are being given to you could foster the 8 intelligence that were explained to you already in relation to the early classroom setting. Thank you. Hope to meet you in the next week course.